Kiss.
Mystic.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. Welcome to the Odyssey Unscripted podcast. My name is Ian. I'm going to be your lovely co-host today, and I am joined by
Athena
and our wonderful special guest, Veronica.
Yeah.
Yay! We're so excited to have you back for our second episode.
I know to say I'm
with you.
back, actually.
Yeah.
Of course. It's really, really exciting. I was talking to Veronica earlier today on the bus, and she was like, you want to have me on the podcast again? And I was like, yeah, I feel like there's a plethora of things that we need to kind of go into about what you do for the company and just like your life. It's so, at least for me personally, if you'll allow me to,
go ahead.
am like so inspired by all of the things that you have done and just the way that you like work behind the scenes to kind
That
of
is
help
so
make
sweet.
things work. I know,
thank
I
you.
know. But it's
Keep
really
it coming. Just kidding. Say more.
Right. It's really interesting. I feel like I'm always intrigued by like the people who don't make it a big deal that they do a lot for us, you know, like that. I think the what's the word I'm looking for, like the modest, not modesty,
humble.
Humbleness is like really
Sit down.
oh my gosh. I'm gonna cut for just not cut actually, I'm gonna move on to a different topic for a second. Yaya has taken over my entire life, and it has just become so prevalent on this trip so far.
Which you said so many times when you're asking me to do this. You're like, yeah. Like, okay, let's
And
do
it
this.
doesn't
Yeah.
help that Darby was sitting right next to me, and she
Yes.
loves when I say it. It's like her
Yeah.
favorite thing that I've ever said. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't even like conquer.
I didn't, well, and that's why like it becomes so second nature to me. And now like other people are finally starting to realize that it is something I say in literally every single sentence I speak, that now it's like it's taken over my life. And I was worried that it was going to offend the Germans. I was really, really nervous.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know, right?
Das ist gut.
Oh my gosh. So anyways, though, Yaya, I'm really excited to have you here. We're really excited to have you here today.
Of course.
Yeah. So our kind of idea for this episode, we wanted to give Veronica a second chance to kind of get even more info out. A second
always
chance.
great.
I know, right? A second chance is always great.
Love a second
To just kind of talk about where you have come from, especially in relation to the company, because you mentioned on the first episode that you like grew up in the company, like as a little girl, you were helping make Bones costumes with Cheryl and like doing all this
whether I
other
wanted
stuff
to or
and-
not. Literally,
Right.
like trying to watch TV, and Mom's like, "Here's some bones to cut out." I was like, "Dang it!" She found me again.
Right, it's like
Yeah.
chores.
It was
yeah.
chores. That was my chores. Don't clean your room. Cut out these bones. That's what I had to do.
That's
skeleton
funny.
bones.
I
and
mean,
stuff.
in comparison to what we had to go through, like I would have loved to cut out bones all day.
yeah.
Like, but I can imagine that after a while, it would have started to get a
Yeah,
little
you could-
stale.
those little finger ones, they're.
Oh,
You'll look
I
at them next
bet.
time, and you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, the little those sucked."
Yeah.
Wow.
Carol, I'm sure.
Every little bone.
no,
Yeah.
there's so much intricacy that has to go
Yeah.
into it. It's
Yeah.
really interesting. And in that same kind of vein, like it is like a family business essentially, which
Yeah.
is like I think is a lot of the charm of like what Odyssey does and the way that we work as a family. I think it's really beautiful to have that kind of aspect to it. And I was just kind of wondering, like, what other duties did you kind of had like before you became part
a
of the
member?
company?
Yeah.
I mean, I would even say I was part of creative process. Like dinner, sitting down with the family, we would be
Right.
sitting there, and my dad would be like, we're eating something, and he's like, "So I have this idea about Frankenstein. What do you think?" And I was like, "What if?" And like, I still am that type of person of like, let's go crazy and like come up with the crazy ideas. But that's how my family dinner was just like, let's create. So I feel like I was part of creating things that maybe I wasn't choreographing necessarily. But even then, my dad would like bring me into the studio sometimes, and like he's like, "Oh, I only have an hour to do this rehearsal. So I want to come up with some choreography." So he would choreograph on me, and then I would either come in and teach it, or he would teach it to the company.
Yeah.
But he would have at least created it.
Right.
Because back then the rehearsals weren't as long. It was definitely
Right.
like 3 days a week or something like that situation. It wasn't a full-time kind of job. So it was like we only have a certain amount of time. So definitely I was creating and then costumes for sure, building sets. My mom or oh my gosh, costumes for sure. Like, I mean, one time she was like, we had to make these giant pig suits for Let It Be, and it would be like, yes, the piggies. So this is how they were created on my body. at 4 a.m. My mom would knock on the door, and then she's like, "Can you just stand up?" And so I was like, there's just swaying as she's wrapping foam around my legs and up my body, creating like, because she doesn't have there's no pattern for these things.
Right.
So she's literally just like figuring out. She's like, I just need a body. So I was the body, just standing there as she's wrapping the things around me and like putting on the layers. So creating costumes on my body.
Wow.
And helping, and then and a lot of times my mom would go back and forth like, well, what if we did this, and she still does that with costumes. Like, how do we make this a little bit better and make more sense? So but yeah, I definitely remember getting woken up at like 4 a.m. for those piggy costumes.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
That's
Were any of your other siblings like kind of in the same boat as you? Was it really like a family, or were you more of a head forward person?
I was around the longest, I think. Because both my sisters, my older sister and my younger sister, both danced in the company. And everybody in my family is artistic in some way. My brother writes books. My other brother designs. So we all kind of had a role in some way or shape or form. My brother would do the create. He's like all into like web designing and stuff like that. So he did a lot of that at the beginnings, in the beginning stages. But a lot of them got married. Veronica didn't get married right away, so she was still at home. Just be like,
still in the piggy costume.
Still in the piggy costume. We're like, I wish I was dating somebody so I could get out of this thing. No, I was just like, that's how it was. It was my family will say I was the golden child. I am the middle child, which tends to be kind of like that a little bit. But it was definitely my all my other siblings got married. Even my youngest sister, who's like 13 years younger than me, she actually got married 2 weeks after I got married. So it was like we were that close in like I was 10 years just hanging out with mom and dad. Not dating anymore. Gave up on dating. Was like, whatever, here I am with mom and dad. So I think that did kind of give me that I was just around a lot more.
But that's really interesting, the way that you can almost feel like your influence on a lot of the things too. Like it's very prevalent. Like before you got in here, we were talking about how much of a hand you had in the creation of like Chicago and Romeo and Juliet. And again, it's the humbleness. You don't really are like, oh yeah, I choreographed this and then I made it this good. And like,
anytime I ask anybody like Darby or Peter, I'm like, who choreographed this? The answer is almost always V. And I'm like, how? Like, how are you doing that? It's especially with like Chicago and all of that. One's like
wild.
I can only imagine.
I don't know how, we probably did that in about a week and a half, and it was like a situation where Derryl was like, okay, at night he'd be like, okay, come up with this choreography so I can teach it to them, and you can choreograph the tap piece in the other room at the same time. So then I would be teaching the tap, and then he's like, Veronica, I forgot this part. So then I'd run to the other room, teach that part, and be like, and all that jazz, and then like, okay, see you in a minute, and then I go back and then just do the tap, and it was bonkers. And then I was choreographing in my mind like the trial part with the oh yes, my mind, I went to a crazy spot, but really it was a competition in my mind because I had overheard some people in the company being like, this is too easy, I don't like this. Like nobody in the company liked the piece when we choreographed it originally, because they didn't think the whole show. They were just like, oh, this show, whatever, like I would just hear things and I stay quiet and I hear those things. So then I was like, you know what, screw them, I'm gonna make this the hardest piece I've ever done. So that's where the trial came from, was like it was out of despite. But now I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was kind of brilliant. Like I used what I was feeling and like threw it in there. But Derryl was like, let's just create on the spot, because he is so good about creating on the spot. But I, at that point, was like, I can't do that. So I stayed up till 2 a.m. Like I remember exactly where I was sitting on the couch and being like, okay, like here's some of this moves and doing that. And then the next morning I came in and I was like, all right, we're doing this. And everybody was like, just like, boom, went to focus mode. I was like, finally, there it is. Listen, here we go. We're going to go. And they like focused in, and it ends up being one of my favorite pieces, because also I see the competition between Daryl's choreography and my choreography, because we were also choreographing at the same time in the same room. So he would be like, he'd hit play and I'm like, I'm still talking over here. I was like, Derryl. So then I was like, okay, then so we were using that in the trial. It became the most brilliant piece, but it was definitely I don't know how Chicago happened. I mean, I do, but I lost a lot of sleep. I definitely was on 4 hours of sleep, but just choreographing
for a good payoff.
But I was like, hopefully it's fun, and it's a fun show.
Oh my gosh, the choreography in the show is like amazing.
Oh, you're sweet.
We were learning it, and I was like, wait, like when you were teaching us no, you saw me like every 8 count. I was like, yes.
You guys were so sweet, and I was just like, that was another thing. I was like, oh my gosh, they were so sweet to like.
Oh my gosh,
even
love.
be like, we love this choreography. I was like, wow, like I don't know. You don't get that. I think validation a lot, especially when you're working with adults.
Yeah.
Like, little kids will just be like, this is fun.
Right.
So you're like, okay, cool. Like I'm doing a good job. But I don't think you get that as much with adults because they're just like, and you guys are in here to do the job and whatever. So it's like, you'll stay quiet. But I was like, oh, that was so nice to hear that validation of like, wow, okay, cool. I felt like it was cool, but like, maybe it's not.
That time that I watched No, I was like, this has Veronica written all over it. Like, no, it's true. Even like when we do your combos in class and stuff like that, like you have such a specific style to you, which I think like makes your choreography so inventive and interesting, at least to me personally. But and I'm just gonna sit here and talk about how much I love you the whole podcast.
You guys are so nice.
No, like truly.
This is the best interview I've ever done.
No, like literally.
So kind.
But like, yeah, it's just so interesting to like see the way that it all kind of carries out. And then when I saw No for the first time, I was like, oh yeah, like this is so.
Thank you.
It's just the movement. I'm such a nerd for like choreography and like the intricacies and all of the different motifs and everything like that. And, like all of the way that you carry the invention of it into the way that you choreograph the piece is just like. I mean, all of the gestures. I mean, I literally do this like every single. I cannot. Yes, it's all the little tiny stuff.
Little storytelling,
right?
yeah.
It's just so. And was there any other moment in Chicago that kind of like sparked that creativity for you? Like, are there any other pieces that kind of like stuck out to you in that regard, or? Like, how did your choreography kind of differ from Derryl's in a way that almost like challenged it, but still allowed like his mind and your creativity to kind of like blend together, if that kind of makes sense?
Okay, so in our living room space, because I actually prefer working in a space like this would be an ideal space for me to work in. And also, I would close the curtains. I don't want to see. I just want to feel. And so I hate a studio space because then I just sit there and I look at it and I'm like, this isn't cool enough. And instead of just like feeling how it comes. So I'm definitely one that I don't. So he's sitting on the chair or on the couch, and I'm just like literally Charleston, like doing all the moves, like doing the moves. He's like, do it again. And I'm like, okay, you know. And I think what it happens is like it would come out of he would give me one move, and then I would improv after that. And he's like, ooh, I liked that. And he's like, do that 2 more times. And I was like, but what if we add an arm this time? You know. And so then I would up that with like, how can we twist it a little bit versus doing the same thing twice, or so it was just kind of like a back and forth.
Very collaborative
kind of thing. Yeah, it's very collaborative. Yeah.
Do you think that you're more of like a collaborative kind of person as well, or do you think that you do like your best work like internally and then you bring it to the surface after that?
I think especially working with my dad, I've become very like I kind of know when to step in and when to not, and like or how to work with him, because I've tried other collaborations and I realized like. Everybody works differently.
Yeah.
So there was some that I was like, ooh, I overstepped my boundaries there, you know, and like, you know, and so I'm scared to do other collaborations, but I would love to. I'm open to it. I think I'm more insecure when I'm by myself versus doing it with somebody with my dad. Like I have more like, okay, yeah, this could be, you know, I trust his instincts of like, there's, I mean, definitely times where I'm like, is this going to be funny, Dad? Like, I don't get it. And then there's like, you know, I just need to trust that he has a bigger vision here and can see it bigger than I can and just, okay, do the moves.
And he always does.
There's
always something. Like when you said
there,
he's able to just like spit it out on the spot, it's like incredible.
The entirety of like the Grinch duet, he just did it like in one single day.
And he probably literally didn't have anything planned. He was just like, oh, and he's like, oh, do this. And
it was crazy. I was like, it was really kind of like, I was really intrigued by it. I was like, dang, he's really just spitting all of this out right now.
No, truly.
That is such a talent and gift. And I've tried to get better about like being okay with coming to the space in the studio and like I have nothing prepared, but I'm like I have to be like, guys, sorry, I have nothing prepared. I'm just gonna figure this out on the spot because I'm so insecure about that. Versus like, okay, let me come up with
favorite days. Those are my favorite days is when you come in and you're like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but like let's just see. I love them. I love it.
They're spaced out, but then there's definitely days I'm like, okay, I need to have something because I feel like I don't want to waste your guys' time or So even like just creating this new thing that we were working on, I was like, oh, I'm really insecure about this, but I just want to like create and play.
Right.
But like, I don't know, because
Yeah.
everybody's staring at you. So it's like,
Right.
what do we do?
No,
I gotta
it is
move.
so
I gotta move. I should move
scary.
faster, you know?
No,
but it's like,
you're so good about like keeping the room like engaged and like entertained.
Oh, thank you.
know?
Yeah.
Which you don't need to do that, but you
I
do.
know. I just,
But you do.
I'm very empathetic and like I'm very aware of the space.
Yeah.
And so I'm always trying to like motherly keep everybody happy and stuff like that.
And
So-
you're really good at it.
Yeah.
I mean, you and your Belle costume, like
I have no shame.
that's my favorite
I have no
thing.
shame.
That's
And
my
that's-
absolute favorite thing about.
Because I can
Absolutely.
sense. So I was thinking about this because I was like, we started talking about like playlists. So I'll jump into playlists. I think about everybody before I start a class, and I'll notice like you're singing No Good Deed the other day. I'm like, I'm going to put that on the playlist because I know he's going to sing that song. Or, or I'll notice like somebody's down and then I'm like, you know what? I heard Carson the other day. He was like jamming to this song. So I'm going to put that on the playlist because I know he likes Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, but I genuinely kind of like feel people out. Not that I'm going up and like, are you okay?
Right.
I'm giving their space, but I'm sensing. And so I
Yeah.
just calmly just put it in the playlist to help the room. And I always try to make sure there's one song, like musical theater or something that everybody's going to sing to. It's like people are going to sing to this song because
Yeah.
I know singing makes you happier. So it's like I'm literally like my playlist is forming the space that I want to
Wow.
create in there and like helping uplift people that I feel like are down or, not bring them down. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to, help create a better space because I know you're always going to go to the back corner to do your warm up because you're just I sense that and I was like I'm not going to come to you and be like, how are you this morning? I was like, give her space. She's gonna wake up by 10 o'clock. She'll be there. She'll be ready to go. You know what I mean? Ian's gonna be right there in the front and be like, I'm gonna namaste with you and like he's like, and then he's gonna do half of it on his own and do his own thing. And I know that.
My leg. And then lift it above my head.
Yes, you always do it and you go to your leg. And I was like, maybe we should follow you one day. And I was like, I'm just going to start following you.
Oh my god!
Because I'm the Pied Piper, so everybody follows me. So if I follow Ian,
Then everyone else will follow.
this is
right.
good. We're coming with good ideas here.
Uh-oh.
But I love the space. I love creating a beautiful space where people can blossom and a positive space as well.
Yeah.
And so I think it all starts with my playlist in the morning with class or when I can tell like people are stressed out. So you guys are stressed out and you're having to get your costumes ready. And I was like, there's like a Belle costume over there. I was like, maybe just let me put it on and be like, there goes the baker with it. I was like, who cares? Like, let me just be Belle for a minute. And like
Right.
Disney dreams came true for me, but then I was like, it entertained you guys and maybe, but maybe not. Maybe you got annoyed. I don't know, but I have
It
no
was
shame
wonderful.
in just making people happy.
What kills me about that specifically was when you came out in the Tiana costume and then you were playing Dig a Little Deeper and you were like dancing in front of Derryl and he was like, not having it. And all of us were like, come on, Derryl, you got it.
Because that is our household.
Yeah.
I am trying to get him to like anything. I'm like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And there's
that's
nothing. So it
funny.
doesn't
So
faze him
funny.
because that is
Yeah.
literally
Right.
just me
But
at home.
that atmosphere that you create like truly makes this job like what it is, because
Thank
like
you.
we are a family and like we're having fun.
Yes.
I always say if like we didn't have this group of people or if like we didn't have the atmosphere that we do at this job, it would feel like almost impossible to do because like the shows we're doing are so hard and like we work a lot and we're constantly like being really, really mean to our bodies. So like
Yeah.
if we weren't having fun, it would be like grueling.
What's the point, right?
Right, truly.
Yeah. And I feel like, before I became the associate artistic director, my big title badge. Before I became that, I definitely had other directors and other people in charge, and I kind of observed over time what I was enjoying and like noticed myself like, oh, there was a period where I kind of hated dance.
Yeah.
And I was like, was it just me or was it maybe the environment that was created?
Right.
And I'm not going to put blame on just them. I like, honestly, I feel like we all go through phases.
Yeah.
But I definitely was like, I can help affect that energy
Yeah.
just by my presence and like how I choose to come in. Like I have hard days, but then I know that you guys are dancing and you're looking at me. So if my face is literally just like, I'm over it and I don't want to be here, that's not going to help you guys succeed. Succeed.
Yes, succeeded in
I just did it.
She did it earlier too.
Yes, I do. I combine words. But
I meant 6-7.
Yeah,
that's what just happened to you.
Whatever that is.
I can't help it. Every episode I have to bring it up.
I started
Every
it that
single
time.
episode.
I just
It's
did
true.
it.
It's true.
I've never done it. Oh God.
The times are changing. The times are changing.
No, that was my one pass. I'm never doing that ever again.
That's your influence.
It is. Anyways. But like, there is something to be said about how important an atmosphere is, like in a job
Absolutely.
like this. Because like, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, like if you go to like a boring cubicle office job every day and you're just sitting in a giant white room with a bunch of people just tapping on keyboards, it's like that. I mean, to me personally, that sucks the life out of me. Mm-hmm. So it's like there has to be some way that we, especially as the creatives that we are, can bring that light into the space in order for us to, because like you said,
keep
like
creating.
Yeah, we are like constantly like attacking our bodies and our minds and trying to like find ways to be inventive that have never been invented before. It's like it's a lot to be an artist. So it's really important to have people like you and Darby and even Derryl. Like he has a huge influence on the way that things go here. Obviously, like it's super important. It's very, very important.
Yeah.
And to that point, I wanted to ask, when you first started to transition into the company, like how was that going from being like part of the family business and helping out and then like becoming into the madness but in a different way? Like what was that experience like for you?
So being the director's daughter, it's like, so I mean, I joined the company when I was 15. So I will say I was very young. And everybody else was in their 20s, late 20s. So I kind of was the oddball. I had no friends, really. Nobody really wanted to talk to me. I was like, oh, I'm Daryl's daughter kind of thing. So I kind of was outcasted a little bit. So I was doing it because I loved it. And but also Derryl, my dad, the same guy. He didn't want to favor me in any way.
Right.
I was never given a part. I was always in the back row, which I was fine. I was just happy with it. It was like, cool, you know. I wasn't like, oh, I should be in that part. So it wasn't until like 6 or 7 years later that I would understudy a role, and then I would teach it to everybody who got to do it, and then I still wouldn't get to do it. Right. And then I was like, that's not fair. Like, how come this is their first year in the company, and I'm still teaching it to everybody and understudying it. But then the next year, I didn't even get to understudy it, but I'm still teaching it to everybody. There was just some weird things like, you know, and obviously things happen, but I was kind of like, I'm just going to bring it up. And so I said something, but I was like, I would just love the opportunity. And so I just knew that I always had to kind of like be prepared for something. Like there was one girl always getting injured, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to start learning her parts. And like she like was sent out in the ambulance thing, and Derryl goes, who can do this part? And I was like, me. And he literally scanned and was like, anybody else. I was like, whoa, I'm right here.
Shady.
Yeah, I mean, it was a whole menage section too, and it was like a double like thing, and I was like, I can do it. 19, let's pick me. But I was like, I just believed in myself, but I was bold in that moment, and he gave me the shot, and he was like, oh, okay, like good job, you know. But it was never. I was always like fighting for that attention, because especially when it's your dad, you're like you wanted that approval kind of thing. So I mean, it definitely was harder to be in the company with that kind of thing. It's like, if you didn't like what the director said, you can't go home and be like, Dad, the director was mean to me. It's like, you were mean to me. You know what I mean? I didn't like what you said to me. So that dynamic has definitely been something that even to this day, I still sometimes, I have the little like innocent girl that gets like sad about certain things. And I'm like, oh, you know, but I just choose to let it go, because I like better not live my life being upset about things that, you know, sometimes I can't control, and whatever, you know, move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think I just grew into, I figured out what worked for me, and eventually, like, I think every role that I finally did get to do, it was like I was the third year choice or the third pick. I was never the first pick, really. I shouldn't say that. There was a couple things I got to do that I was the first pick. Finally later in the career. But not the first 10, 15 years. I was, you know, just dancing because I loved it. And I was so young, you know, there's so much to learn.
But out of my own curiosity, we were literally talking about this in our house the other day. Were you or were you not the original Juliet in Romeo and Juliet?
I was not the original.
Okay, I was like so certain that you were.
Yeah, I was not.
But you were the second, weren't
I was
you?
the second.
Second. I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Which, going into that also brings up a good point because you helped with the creation of Romeo and Juliet as
Yes.
well. And what was that like going from like creating it to then eventually getting to do it and perform it on stage? Because we've heard like your experience being in the show and like this show, means like a lot to you. So like what was that kind of like putting your heart into it and then finally getting to like be the person to exude that on stage?
Yeah. Well, so I was in the piece when we were creating it. I was just an ensemble member.
Right.
So I came from it as an ensemble member in my creation process. So that's why Osaya to me, I feel like is the heart of the show because I put so much thought into like how important that should be. And so I really didn't even think about Juliet's story. I was just like, oh, cool. Romeo and Juliet, they're leads, but what's the ensemble doing?
Right.
That's more important to me. So I really wanted to focus on that more. But then when I got to be Juliet, I was like, oh, let me play with this whole aspect of it and the acting part of it. And I just love, actually, it was really fun to be an ensemble member too, actually. And once playing Juliet and being on that side, I actually missed and wanted to be back into being the ensemble member because I was like, I missed the group experience. Because then you're not really dancing with the group. You're just sitting there watching and being like, oh, my friends are amazing. But you're like, oh, I would love to, because I got to be a part of that and feel that. And I was like, oh, I don't need to do that anymore. Now I have to be like, oh, emotional, But then like diving into those emotions are so fun too as well. So, a beautiful journey either way, but I did get to play both sides and creating it. It was just Osaya and actually quite a few of the songs did I help. Like we were just kind of throwing in, hey, this song might work, but like, it's like the oh my gosh, it's from the movie. It's the death scene song. That was when I played in class one day, and then they were like, what is this from? I was like, it's from Romeo and Juliet. And I was like, oh, we should use it. I was like, cool. Well, I just gave that to you.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, that is really interesting, especially because like we've heard a similar experience from like Peter and Darby, where like Peter, when we were doing the Tybalt Quartet, he was like, oh, like I didn't get to do that cool stuff when I was doing it. Like I want to do it with you guys. Like it is definitely something that it's easy for it to get taken for granted. I would definitely say because everyone wants the big shiny important role.
You see that, but then you're like, oh, I didn't realize. Yeah. Because once you're there, you're looking back and be like, oh, I kind of missed the.
Well, I was just in our last episode I was just talking about how much I love being like a little drunk girl in the club scene. Like, if I didn't have that, I'd be so sad. Like, it truly is. Like, I love this show. I love like getting to like challenge myself, like when it comes to acting and stuff.
And
that.
somebody may look at it and be like, "That's the smallest role. Like, how down?" And you're like, "Actually, this like I'm living for this role.
I'm having a lot of fun. Actually,
no,
best part of
absolutely.
my day.
Yeah. We were talking about that on like the episode that the three of us did. Like, I mean, something that like has always stuck with me that you said is like the analogy of thinking of there's always a camera on you, like when there are those like giant group scenes. Like I feel like it calms me a lot because like there's always, I mean, in every dancer there's that part of your brain that's like, oh, like you didn't get chosen to do it, it's like obviously you're not good enough. And it's like when you think about it in terms of the way that you're setting the atmosphere, especially in a show like Romeo and Juliet, like there truly is no small part. Like what you're doing, if you're just like sitting on the side of the stage at the table at Chicago and you're like whatever,
somebody's
then it's
watching
like,
you,
right? And it's going to be boring for the audience. Like you need to bring the energy into the piece when it's as structured the way that it is. It's like it's so affirming to know that like there will never be a moment where like I will not be seen, which like you're just being on stage in general. Like that's something that like has definitely growing into like being in this profession. I think it's helped me a lot to realize that none of the work I do is ever going to be insignificant because it's always going to bring me to something new or like bring me a new perspective or whatever. Oh, thank you.
No, I love that. It's so true. I think, and maybe I'll say just like as we grow up from like studios where it is like it's competitive and just like I want to be in the front, I want to be the soloist. So then you come into this world. It's the same world, but like go into the professional like performance mode that you're thinking, oh, I didn't get that part. Like I guess I'm not a good dancer, and you start to like just slowly. We just beat ourselves up so much, but taking it to that level of like I actually, you know what, I am part of this story and oh my gosh, like even though I'm inside this like mechanical bush thing, Cinderella's in front of me and the spotlight's on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm spotlighted too. You know, like you literally, that's what I did in my brain to like realize like, you know what, I am just as important because I am part of this story, and regardless of what I'm doing, even though I'm like, oh, I have years of training and I'm, you know, I'm supposed to be all this, it's like actually like when you put that aside, it's like, you know what, do the job and just have a good time with it.
Right.
You actually have the best time doing the jobs that you may look at as like, oh, that's not going to be put on the resume kind of thing. You know what I mean? But
because that freeness is almost like the affirmation you need to be like, all right, like I'm gung ho, like let's go as far as we can with this. Yeah. Which I mean, and there are definitely times where I feel I can take it a bit too far, and I'm like, all right, I need to tone it down a little bit.
I try to tone you down, but I also love when like I was like, I love exploring, love seeing, I love creating and see what comes in the studio. That's like honestly my favorite part is like when we start playing and seeing all the different versions that I was like, you know what, I have seen it 25 times, but that is a version I have not seen. I was like, good job.
Right.
Like I love that. It's like so exciting to see in the studio space.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So kind of moving on past that, when did you stop dancing with Odyssey for like a little bit? Like when did you how long were you on the company, and then when did you kind of start to transition into other work?
So I did, I can't even tell you a year.
It gets to that point.
I'm at that point, you know. You think I'm 25, but
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to hear otherwise.
I will say I kind of went in and out for a while there. I went and did like an Alaskan cruise and worked with Disney, and so I got a whole experience with that. And found out that cruise life was not for me, but I got to experience that. And then I also went and did a 9-month bus tour I was on the national tour of Footloose. And so, I was like, Footloose! It's not just for you. I play that one for me, that song. But so I got to experience the bus life and doing musical theater in that sense. And then I would work at Tuacahn and do musicals there in the summer because I was like, oh, this is easier in my body. And then like get to do like the concert work, hard dancing throughout the year. And then like, oh, take a break, but still get to perform. And then, but also exploring different ways of performing, which helped put in my back pocket. So I was in and out a lot, I think, for a while there. But it was kind of when I got injured, maybe like 8-9 years ago, I would say, doing a nice little hip action.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I felt a little tear in the back of my hip. And it was like, it literally just like felt like it was, I was like, oh, I'm just going to sit here. And I was like, oh, it's not feeling so good. And so I just kind of was like, I think maybe my body's saying it's time to not to be doing this so hard. And it was never really talked about with my dad of like, well, let's have you do this. It was just kind of like, I was already in the teaching mode. So he was like, okay, so you're teaching this. And I was like, cool, okay. And I just did it. But we never literally had a sit down conversation of like, okay, now you are going to become this. It was like, I just kind of from the injury kind of just sat back and then started helping people. Yeah. That was a whole transition too of like, I literally was just dancing with you. And next month, I'm now like just person in charge. So there was like a fine balance of like, how do I give notes or to somebody that was like, you were my peer, and now I'm like giving you notes.
Right.
So I slowly formed into that. But it took some time. For sure.
Yeah. It always is like the simplest stuff too. That's what gets you. Like it's
we're doing a ballroom class, and I was just like, and I was like, that's weird. That doesn't feel weird. And I don't know if it's just like with time, with age and stuff, you know. Which is bound to happen, but there's been times too, and even after that, I still went and did a couple more musical theater shows in the summer, and like, you know, was living my best life. But I just knew, I was like, I just don't know if I can get back into like doing the hardcore dancing stuff. But then I started to find a joy in being behind the scenes, and enjoying helping people succeed and see them flourish. And found such a joy in that I was like, oh, I'm okay being in the back and not being like, oh, I'm the star or I'm on stage. I need to be on stage. It's like, oh, I don't care to be on stage anymore. Like really, I feel that transition has happened for me. That I was like, I don't need to be on the stage. I enjoy the backstage stuff. I love being in the wings and seeing the chaos that happens.
Absolutely.
Oh, and we love you there.
Like, I'm there in like the performance mode, and then chaos. Like, I love that. It's so fun and so entertaining to watch. That's something that I enjoy.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, and I mean, in the 2 years that we've been on this company, like you've made a few appearances on stage.
You
And I have some planned. I always have things planned.
Oh my god! Wait, I cannot wait.
Well, to be continued. The third podcast with Veronica when you find out what I actually did in the season.
Right.
That's just the confessions from Veronica of what I actually do
goodness.
on stage.
Wait,
so funny.
actually, that's a really good idea.
It is. Well, I kind of love like trying to sneak on stage and not let Derryl see.
It's so fun.
Right.
And even just to surprise the dancers because I think it keeps you guys on your toes and like.
Well, I remember one day this year during Thriller, like there was like talks of you like joining for the clump, and I was like, but then somebody said like, oh no, she's not gonna do it. Like she doesn't want to put a costume on, or like, oh well, whatever. And then I'm literally up in the air and I hear your voice right behind me going, woo, yeah! I was like, oh, she made it on stage. And I never saw you. I just heard you.
You knew it was like that's Veronica right there.
Yep, she's here. She's here.
I love that.
Yeah, those are my favorite. Or like when you're like just in the side of the wings, like yelling in our ears, and I'm like, I just have to like pretend that there's not a person screaming at me.
I love breaking people on stage.
But it really helps. But I have a video like from last year's Christmas show of like us doing Snow, and I'm like recording the stage, and then it's just your voice in the background, like, woo, yes, get it, work. But like genuinely, once we reach that circle part, like that's when you needed that.
Mm-hmm, right. Again, it's all about the energy.
It really helps.
Also, because I've done it too.
Right.
So I know that circle part, that's when you're like, oh, I'm going to throw up. And you're like, one more, they're so tasty.
Yeah.
And I was like, so that's why I'm going to be on stage, like, you got it. Yeah. Because I've done it before. So I know when you're feeling that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is needed.
My favorite Veronica on stage moment is when you got to make your debut as the COVID ball. That was like, because I knew that you were ecstatic to be in that costume.
I think I was screaming bloody murder. Like, I was so happy because it was a black light. Like, I was like, I hope Derryl doesn't see me, but this is so exciting.
And he did not. Didn't you come out like a good amount of times?
Like 3 shows, and he had no idea. He's like, but he could hear that people were singing.
Yes.
He's like, so you came out on stage? What were you? I was like, I don't know.
If you didn't see me, you don't get to know.
You didn't see me, you didn't know. You didn't see me. You didn't tell.
The trick or treat dance that we do during Thriller, it's a black light dance, and like it's just chaos and so many different characters and all this other stuff. And last year we had a dance called COVID Cotillion, which was like a ballet piece and / hip hop piece that was kind of like. It was, it was about the COVID times and everything like that. And at the very end, our lovely assistant director, Carson, would come out in this giant germ costume. Assistant director of the podcast.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait.
Carson, our assistant director of Odyssey.
Assistant director.
You've been fired.
They're going to have to tussle for it.
I see.
Yeah. But I said it. Yeah. Just one.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
But he would come out in the COVID ball costume, and he would, like, hop around, and he'd try and infect us and whatever. And it was, I think you were just always enamored with it, like, from the beginning.
Yeah,
me too.
If I could be any role, I would want to be that.
No, absolutely.
And so I was like, how can I get in that costume? And then I was like, hey, Mom, does this thing glow? And she's like, took a flashlight. She was like, it does. I was like, it's in. Like, let's make this work.
It's in.
Like, I love
You don't
finding
need to
ways.
consult anyone else.
No, literally.
No.
And personally, I feel as though it should be a regular character. Like, I
for
think,
sure.
you know what I mean? Like, not even in the scheme
It's an
of
Easter
COVID
egg,
Cotillion.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
People, what is that thing floating across the stage?
And you have to come back to the show to see if you missed it. Then,
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, but also you did make an appearance on purpose and like with consultants from Derryl and our other Christmas show when you had to go on for Soldiers.
Yes.
Because like a little story, Allie, lovely Allie, she in the middle of our Christmas show doing the stupidest dance known to man, break time at Macy's. She does a roll and she bursts a cyst in her knee.
Random.
And so just so random. And then just can't do the rest of the show. And I, of course, she's the tallest girl in the company, and I was the understudy for the Soldiers dance, and it's a height line. So that wasn't gonna happen.
I looked at you and I was like, even if you knew it, which I didn't know if you knew it, but I was like,
I
was like, I don't think I could put you on
there.
stage. And it wasn't something that I like wanted to do. I was literally mortified and terrified to be out there.
I remember like reviewing it. I was like, I guess like I'm the understudy. Like I'm gonna have to go in right now. And then you were like, Athena, I gotta do it.
it. It can't be you. It's not your time.
But like I remember Derryl saying that was like the most terrified he'd ever seen you to be like on stage.
Oh yeah, because it was such a pristine like line situation where I couldn't like fudge anything and be like, oh, I messed up a part. It was just super clean. So like I think I was just deer at headlights the whole time. I was just using my peripherals, like, hit the lines, and oh my gosh. Because now I'm at the point too, I teach it and it's out of my body.
Right.
And like I'm watching it and I remember, but like it's physically like I start reversing it all too now. I was doing that yesterday with you guys when you were like running something. I was like, oh, let me just see what's in my body. Yeah. And I'm watching it and I was like, I'm doing it totally reversed now. Even though I taught to you literally like 2 weeks ago.
That's wild.
It's now reversed because I flipped the thing. So I was terrified to do that.
Wow.
There's videos of it. I don't want to see it. I'm sure it's okay, but it's still like
in the video, like in like the actual video of our Christmas show, he like splices it between different nights. So like one night it's Allie, one night it's Veronica, one night it's next shot it's Veronica. It's really funny.
Oh man!
But like I remember being so impressed. I was like, wait, work? Like she did that.
Yeah.
I don't know, like if like stepping into that from like not having ever like learned, even though you did choreograph it, but like I'm the same way. Like once I put it on someone, it's gone. And I'm like, wait, what's next? I don't remember it. Like I'm that person that's like, okay, hang on, I don't remember what it was. Mm-hmm. So like I don't. That's scary. That's really scary.
I've had to do quite a few jobs where I was a swing, and I think that also was a very humbling experience and helped me to learn. It was just like, okay, if you have a chance to go on stage, it may be the only time you get to do this track. So live it up. Right. And so I think that's why I'm like, I have this moment, like, here we go. Here's my one time to shine. Whatever it is. I'm going to do it the best I can. It may not be the best, but like, and I was swinging like 15 tracks.
Oh my
guys
goodness.
and girls. So I had like note cards for everything. It like just trained my brain to just accept like formations and like, you start to be like, okay, it's always my downstage arm. So if I'm on this side, it's this arm. And like, you start to change how your brain works, which kind of helped me like with teaching, but also like knowing how to like just jump in for those kind of things. And also you come to accept like it is what it is. Right. Where instead of being like, I messed up and oh my gosh, you're like, well, whatever, you know? You move on. It's live theater. That's the joy of it. It's like sometimes it's not perfect. And I think that's what I enjoy too, watching the company is something about like I love watching people mess up or them confessing to be like, I'm sorry I messed up that part, you know, because I'm like, yes, live theater. It's like I love the imperfections of live theater.
I love that too. As an audience member and also a performer, I am always in the audience, like getting distracted because I'm thinking like, ooh, I wonder who's quick changing right now, or I wonder what's happening right now. I wonder if they have any pre-show rituals, or like I am that person that's like, oh, I just heard something off stage. What prop did they run into?
Me too. I literally like it's like now I can't even just sit and watch a show because I'm like, oh, that wasn't clean.
Right.
Or like, why is that prop? Why are they holding that prop? I'm like asking all the questions I do as the director. I'm sitting there like always asking myself questions. And like now I just can't even just watch a show.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, this could be better. This doesn't make sense. Like this isn't even my show. Like, just sit and enjoy it. Get the popcorn and just watch. Like, that's what I need to do. But whatever.
It's so hard actually because I feel like I'm the same way too. Where like it takes a second for me to take myself out of like the dancer teacher moment where I'm like, okay, like I'm here to enjoy this, so I just need to stop. But there's always going to be that little part of my brain like, oh, her foot was pointed. It's always going to be back there. But that is interesting that you say that because I was also wondering like in terms of teaching, like how do you think that has kind of informed, because I would definitely say that you still dance, like you dance with us like a pretty decent amount. Like,
every once in a while when I throw my leg up, you guys are like, ooh, and I'm like,
true, yes. Like how do you think your teaching experiences that you've had have kind of meshed into the way that you approach like not just the company but like the rest of your life? Because I know that like teaching can be extremely imperative in like building the foundations of personalities, and not even just for children but like for us as well.
Yeah. Okay. You might have to tell me because I might like go off on a tangent then. I love to travel, and for a long time I would save up my year and go spend it on one trip that I would go do humanitarian work. And so one year I went to India, and I went there to teach English. I'm there, I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't even know how to speak English. I do 5, 6, 7, 8. Like that's the thing. And I'm sitting there with the head director of it, and I was kind of like, I teach dance. And he was like, what? what? He's like, we have this group of girls that would love to learn how to dance. And so I was like, well, let's do it. And he's like, okay, after your day of teaching English, we're going to do a class after. I was like, cool. And they showed up, and literally it was supposed to be like an hour class, and we were there for 4 hours.
Wow.
I kept like turning on a song, and they were just like, come on, let's keep like, kept dancing more. Like I was teaching like body rolls and just simple little things. And they just didn't want to leave. And I, like, we weren't speaking very much English, but we were speaking so much beyond that through dance that I was like, whoa, this is like way bigger than just like, okay, you can do a pirouette. You know, I was like, there's something emotionally helping these girls get through. Like, they don't want to go home because their lives are not good there, that they feel joy here. They'd rather stay here, even if they're going to get beaten for showing up late at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I felt so much joy there. I ended up going back like 3 or 4 more times to India to go teach more as well, because I was just like, I just love it there. But I was like, well, okay, why do I have to go there to have that same experience?
Yeah.
Why can't I find it in the States as well, or wherever I am? Why can't I create that same environment of like, it's beyond just doing moves. I think it's also create an environment where people can grow and be their best selves, and create a positive environment to helping people to discover themselves and discover things about themselves, learn about themselves through dance. That's why they're here anyway. They love it. So like, let's keep growing together. We all have that same commonality. But yeah, it was something about like dancing beyond a language was so cool to me. Now wait, go back to the question, because I feel like that was part of it, of like reason why I.
And then how did that kind of influence the way that not only you bring it to Odyssey, but just like the rest of your life, the way that it
YOLO!
translates? Right.
That's what it is. No, I know. I don't think anybody uses that phrase anymore. This is when you YOLO.
I love
YOLO. And also I would say I was like FOMO, fear of missing out. And like,
FOMO,
yeah,
YOLO.
and YOLO. My husband has lost so many people in his life. His mother just recently passed away, and he lost his dad when he was really young. And he's had this conversation with me so many times. He's like, what are we waiting for? Why are we saying, okay, when this happens, then we'll go do that thing? And I was like, you're right. So he's like, it's Easter. You want to go see the Redeemer, Christ the Redeemer in Brazil? I was like, yeah, let's do it. You know, and like, we just made it happen. And so we've just started to live our lives that way. So I will give credit to my husband as well. But like, I think I've been one that's definitely like, I'm like a YOLO person. Like, you know, Ramsey said, you want to go out in the river? And I was like,
plunge.
yeah, I'm going to do it. So I didn't fully get in. But I was like, you know what? My feet need some healing. I'll put my feet in there. I was like, it's nice. But I was like, I don't want to miss opportunities, because I feel like life is too short. So you don't know when it could be your last. And so might as well, or even in your dancing career, you don't know what a simple, like, knock on wood, injury could like take you out, that suddenly you're like, oh yeah, I have all the time. Like, I'll just wait until it's like, no, like, let's be present in the moment and like do the best you can in that moment. Because even if it's, there was a couple times where we were supposed to go to Germany and on tour, and we were supposed to do a show, and we rehearsed that one show, and it was just going to happen once, and there was 3 other shows we were going to do, and then that show got canceled, and so we had rehearsed that whole time. It was Romeo and Juliet. Oh my gosh, speaking of. And so I thought about it, and I was like, yesterday in rehearsal was then my last time to get to do Romeo and Juliet for the season. Wow. And I was like, I wish I had done it like full out.
Right.
I wish and that was in a rehearsal space. It wasn't even on stage. And so moments like that, I think it's made me kind of like, I want to be present in the moment and do it the best, be the most full out I can. Enjoy it the like fullest without, you know, having no shame, being Belle. Like I'm just gonna dive in and enjoy it to the fullest, because I think life's too short.
Absolutely.
So I think I take that into my class as well as like, and into my space, into my life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
YOLO.
Right. YOLO. It's so it's so incredible to hear you speak to that, because I feel like that outside of the dance world can get so lost on people a lot of the time. Like, I definitely feel like I am a person where like I was saying, if you'll allow me, that like my resolution for this new year was that I wanted to do things without looking for a reason why. I just wanted to do it because I wanted to do it. Like if I have that drive, I wanted to put myself out there and just see what happens. And I think like that kind of stems off of the whole like, what are you waiting for? Like why are you waiting for someone to tell you to do it? Just do it because you want to.
Yeah.
And then when you bring that into this like world of dance, it's like you said, our careers are just so like short and it's so unpredictable a lot of the time. It's so easy for us to just get knocked out, knock on wood, just like that.
Yeah.
But, like it's so wonderful to have that kind of philosophy from the jump about the way that you approach things, because like you never know.
You never know.
know.
Like, who are you to not be great?
Right.
You're the one that's holding yourself back from that.
True.
You know, and we're our worst enemy. So
Absolutely.
I think I bring that into the space of like, I want people to be their best selves. And so it's like, go for it. Yeah. You want to do that? And you're like, should I try it? I was like, yeah, do it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, because if I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. Let's stay safe. I was like, let's break boundaries and go for it and then see what comes out of it. You know,
Absolutely.
You can always pull back, but like, why not reach for the stars?
Right. And you'll still land on the moon if you miss.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, on that note, I wanted to ask you one final question.
Oh, this is the final one.
Do you have a story from your time on the company that you'd maybe like to share? Some kind of like funny anecdote or something that's really stuck with you, or just something really quick so we can kind of wrap it up a little bit.
Well, I gave you my love story, I think, in a different podcast. Check that one out.
True.
Episode number 2.
Where I cried. The one tear, the movie tear. No, there was definitely tears. Because I've had beautiful moments on stage where I learned life lessons. No, should we do a funny one? Should we do a...
I feel like a funny one would be good. I feel like you have so many fun stories.
Okay.
I want to hear all of them.
I have multiple. Everything's an experience. Okay, so we're in Europe performing. I'm doing a duet, and it's this fun little playful thing. We had these cute little dresses on. I had like 2 little buttons right here on my chest. Doing a duet, and I go over this guy's back, and somehow my button gets stuck on his belt loop there in the back side. On the back side, and it twisted, so it was completely wrapped around. It wasn't something we could just pull, like, you know, slide out. It was like I would have to like backflip around to get out of it. So my head is literally like down here in my chest, like trying to get it, and he's literally like this. It felt like 2 minutes. It probably was only 10 seconds, but man, that time was just the longest thing. I was like, this is a duet. Get me out of here.
Right.
Just one of those things that like, yeah, you just like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah.
Here we are, live theater again, you know?
No, right, literally.
Wardrobe
That is
malfunctions are a nightmare.
No.
Because there's like nothing you can do like really to prevent it. If it happens, it's just...
Especially
Wait, one
in
more.
a duet.
Please.
Please.
Just because we're doing Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
We're in Turkey. And we had,
sick.
I know, right? Turkey. I just happened to throw that out there. So we have this proscenium stage, and it was one of these, like, you've experienced it now. Sometimes they're on mechanical things and go real slow.
Yeah.
It was like this. Like 30 seconds to close this thing. So it's maybe only 20 minutes into the show, and we're like getting to it's a Juliet solo. So I sit down and just kind of swinging my legs and getting ready for like, it's not so easy, you know. I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking in my mind, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Music's not playing. And I play with my hair and I'm just schmacting out of this. All of a sudden I hear, no. And I'm like, keep acting. What's happening? So they close the curtains. I guess the computer shut down. So luckily the way the show works is that like by the end of Act 1, everybody's already in Act 2 costumes. So they're like, we're going to take intermission right now. So we took intermission there, like at the beginning of the show. Took intermission, and so then when we got to like the end of Act 1, we did the close curtains and we opened them right away. Like came right back. And we're like into Act 2, but it was like I remember they're like, okay, we're gonna go back, and so I get back to the spot. I was like, okay, Romeo, to like open up, and I was like, oh. Thunderous applause.
What?
Let's go. I was like, I must be acting so good. I think honestly it was probably applauding for just like it starting again.
Right.
And in my mind I was like, it's for me.
They're like, yes, she's back.
Exactly. Like, I'm still here. I was here the whole time. I didn't move. I was just Romeo.
Oh my God, that's
anyway,
crazy.
That's hilarious.
You
That's
never
a good
know.
one. Yeah. Oh my
That's so
gosh.
funny.
Wow.
And then just kidding. No, that's it.
I would sit and listen for hours. I really
I want to hear every
I feel
single
like
one of your
that happens
stories.
with me all the time. Though I'm like, okay, guys, you want to hear this story? I feel like there's several dancers have been like, you throw out things that like that's not real, and I was like, it is though. Like, I'm not
Unfortunately,
lying,
it is.
but this has happened in my life.
Right.
So
Oh my God.
I got a
that's
whole
crazy.
plethora, a bucket
Right.
list of
Love
things.
A Rolodex.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you so
Yes.
much for
You guys
joining
are
us
so
today.
cute.
You are so sweet.
We can do a third one. Now I'll accept it.
Yes.
We can do a third one of just Veronica's things that she's like gone away
Yes.
with.
And it'll be like a confessional. We can have Derryl here too, so he can find out.
You can find out and be like, wait, that happened? Absolutely.
Because I think
have
he
no shame
loves
in
it
it.
too.
Yes, he
Right,
does.
right.
He does. We
Yeah.
have a good little banter in our relationship of
Right.
like, well, okay, one more story, please, please. So I'm doing cats, and I'm being Rumple Teasers, who's like a little more mischievous cat. And there's this giant train, and I get inside the train. There's this light, and I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, my shadow. Oh. I'm literally thinking like a cat. Okay, like, that's what a cat would do. So and this is during this whole like ballad song is going on in the front. I could care less about that. I was about my shadow. All of a sudden the lights go off. I'm like, why'd it go dark? It got dark.
My light.
My light. So I like come out of the train and I'm like, okay, like just, still acting, whatever.
Yeah.
I was just literally in a cat mode. Come to find out, my dad was up in the booth and he's like, turn the lights off on the train. Veronica's like scene stealing big time. No idea, because I was just in my world. I didn't think. I was like, always everybody's focused over there. I'm just like,
Right.
Kit Kat, do my thing. Totally turned off the lights on me. Like,
It's crazy.
Oh my God.
so he has no shame in telling me. He was like, yeah, you took it too far. I was like, okay, cool. And then we just
Okay,
move on.
You won't really method act as a cat anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
that's
it's
fine. Yeah, that's okay.
hilarious. Oh my
Don't give me a
God.
prop. Don't give me a toy. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna have a good time out
Oh
there.
my gosh.
All right, that really is less, right? I won't do it more.
Speaking of good time, it has been a blast.
Yeah,
Thank you so very much.
absolutely.
Thank you. Say goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys later.
Bye.